when I first got into leadership, I was trying really hard to be like other leaders, right? And I felt like I failed miserably being a leader because I wasn't being true to who I was and how I wanted to lead.
Today's show is so good.
But number one, I've never seen an intro like that.
It is my hope and desire that not only will episode 30 still be fun, but episode 300 will be even more fun. You were made for something great, so go and be awesome.
Ten seconds remaining.
And welcome to the show. My name is Renee Hastings, and I'm your host of Renee Speaks. Today's episode is brought to you by Executive Help Now and powered by Livestream Editors. At Executive Help Now, we are all about simplifying your business so you can focus on what really matters, from streamlining operations and managing your back office to producing podcast shows and keeping everything organized. Our team is here to help you thrive. If you're ready for making life just a little bit easier, visit us at www.executivehelpnow.org. Y'all, today's guest is nothing short of pure genius. Her name is Christine Sario-Valdes, and she is a pharmaceutical sales executive and investor with over 20 years of leadership experience in healthcare and in the healthcare industry. And as a regional sales director, she leads high-performing teams through data-driven and heart-led leadership. That's kind of a tongue twister. She's passionate about personal growth and financial empowerment. Christine shares insights on mindset, resilience, and redefining success. Y'all, put your hands together for Christine Sario-Valdes. Hello.
Hi, how are you, Renee?
I am great, thanks. How are you, Christine?
I'm doing great. Getting over my cold, but really, really good today.
Oh man, it sucks to have a cold in the winter. It's just so awful. So yeah, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. And thank you so much for your resilience and being with us here today. We're super grateful to you, and we will keep it short so we can get back in bed and get better. So Christine, let's start out talking about you a little bit, your background, how you got started in the healthcare industry, and then eventually moved into investing. And finally, what inspired you to pursue investing alongside your leadership career?
Yeah, I started, I'm from a family of 6 children, immigrant family from the Philippines. I came over here when I was 1.5 with my parents. They had $500 to their name. So one of those stories where, they filed the paperwork, they got the okay, they waited 8 years, they got the okay to come to the United States, and they brought me over. And so just seeing my parents really work really hard, multiple jobs, buying real estate on their own, just all the struggles, and having 6 children really taught me that, there is something to hard work, but there is also something to, owning your own businesses as well. So I went to college, got a degree in chemistry. I thought I was going to be a chemist. And then I realized I really don't like the lab. And someone told me about sales. They said, why don't you get into sales? You kind of have that personality. You like people. So I applied, and I actually became a pharmaceutical sales person. And most of you guys know, when you go into doctor's offices, you see these pharmaceutical reps come in. Well, luckily for me, I was really good at it. And it wasn't because I was good at it because I was good at selling. I really believed that the the products that I sold really helped a lot of patients. And so what drove me to do well wasn't the sales, it was being there for as many providers as possible to give the right information, to give the right education, and to give them an option of the type of medicines that they can use with their patients, and that my product could be an option that could help their patients. And so that really drove me to help as many patients as possible that way. And I became really successful. So in a short 4 years, I got promoted, and then I've been in leadership the whole time. And so now I lead a large regional team that sells a product in the antipsychotic or psychiatric space. It's an antipsychotic. And I love what I do because I really see the impact that we can make on patients' lives, but I can also see how I can grow the people that I lead into better people, not only for their job, but also personally. So the whole investing thing started probably, gosh, I think I did a house hack before it was called house hacking. So I bought a house back in 2001. Okay, this was a long time ago. So it wasn't called house hacking back then. But back in 2001, I bought a house and I actually lived in it while we fixed it. And after 2 years, we sold it. 2 years and 1 day, we sold it. So I didn't have to pay capital gains. And we actually made $375,000 on that first flip. And so,
holy camole.
I know. It was crazy because I learned how to cut granite. Because normally people buy granite and they get it cut. We actually bought old pieces of granite, cut it in the back. I mean, I know how to put the saw and the water.
Oh,
I know
wow.
drywalling, how to put the drywall in. I know how to. So you learn how to do. I mean, when you're house hacking, I mean, I was working during the day and doing this between 8 and 11 o'clock at night, every night working with a partner I bought the house with. So did really well there. Stepped away a little bit from real estate because my career was taking off. So I needed to focus on my career. And then back in, I would say 2018, bought another house. And then just started building from there, got into flipping. My husband and I started finding other properties to flip. Didn't do as many because I'm still working, my 80, 90 hour a week job. Right. But I really felt that it was important for me. I was seeing how much money I was spending. What was happening was my career was taking off and we kept buying stuff. And I started to get, honestly, the truth was I started to get a little panicked. Like, oh my gosh, am I going to use all my money on stuff that doesn't appreciate, stuff that just gets, thrown away after you use it. So I said, we need to put it into something that actually appreciates. So we bought another house. We did a couple of flips. We started looking at multifamily. We invested passively as limited partners on different apartment complexes. We ended up doing a joint venture on an apartment complex in Houston. And since then, we bought a digital marketing business. We've also since then, we've done some capital raising for some land development via private equity, looking at another possible private equity investment as well to offer other people. So we've grown a lot, I would say. And it's funny, people go, how long did that take you? Well, quite honestly, I mean, my husband and I didn't really jump into like full-fledged investing until 2021. So we were able to scale we did all of this stuff literally in 3 years. So
wow, that is so fantastic and so impressive. And there's so much to unpack here because you come from such a rich background, just in terms of the amount of adversity your family had to maybe overcome to get here, get settled, build something basically from nothing, and while setting the example for you. So it's good that you got to see them, in what they were doing. Because, as kids, you kind of look at the grown-ups in your life and you're like, okay, I want to be like them, or I definitely don't want to be like them. And so I'm going to do whatever I say.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And so that's so amazing that you followed your passion for science, because I'm sure that helped you to be a much better pharmaceutical sales rep, because you kind of know what goes into the formulations. Maybe you didn't formulate the actual medications or whatever, but having that knowledge and at least understanding of the language, I'm sure probably helped you in that space. And then for your supervisors to recognize your leadership style and skills and encourage you in this sales space, I think just speaks volumes to who you are and the impact that they saw that you could have from way back then.
Yeah.
So
And
that
I would say that it's interesting because I don't see a lot of leaders in my industry that look like me. So I felt like in the beginning, when I first became a leader, and for your audience that just got into leadership or want to get into leadership, I would say that when I first got into leadership, I was trying really hard to be like other leaders, right? And I felt like I failed miserably being a leader because I wasn't being true to who I was and how I wanted to lead. I just was uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable with, am I really a leader? Like, I don't see anybody like me, right?
yeah.
And as I've grown, I realized, I've become a better leader because I actually lead the way I would like to be led, but also I lead based on, and people talk about this all the time, like servant leadership. But I really try to embody that. Like everything I do is, okay, yeah, I have to hit a number, but how can I truly serve the people that I'm working with? Like, what do they really need? And what value can I provide them? And so I look at it as I have, almost 100 people, right, that I manage. So I look at these people like, okay, this person is here. What do they want to do with their lives? And how can I help them become better, not only at their craft, but at whatever they want to do, like whatever I can provide value. Because if they continue working for me, great. They continue to leave. I want them to be successful wherever else they go. I mean, that's the goal, right? So
Absolutely.
that's, I just wanted to say, just because I don't know if you have, folks in your audience that are looking into leadership.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and as a founder, we're all leaders.
Yeah.
And so just by virtue of the fact that we're business owners and we're trying to build something and we recognize that we can't do it on our own,
Yeah.
we are all leaders.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But I definitely can relate, and the servant leadership definitely resonates with me. And when you understand what's important to your team, what motivates them, what gets them out of bed in the morning, and knowing that you have just a little bit of influence in getting them to help them reach their goals is so rewarding. And so I can definitely relate to that. But one of the things one of my mentors said to me as we were having a conversation about business and turnover and people coming, people leaving, and that sort of thing, when I was first developing my leadership hops, for lack of a better word, when someone came, I wanted them to stay with me forever. I didn't want them to leave. I wanted because consistency was so important to me. And that's when I discovered I have some personal issues. Anyway, that's a whole nother story for another day. But I really wanted them to just grow with us.
Yeah.
And my mentor said, consider leading with an open hand.
Yes.
And I'm like, what does that mean? And she said, people are going to come in. They're going to serve you. They're going to serve your clients. They're going to grow. They're going to do the things that are important to them. And then they're going to leave.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because that's what's best for them, what they feel is best for them. And so you support them the entire time. So when she said that to me, it helped me rethink how I thought about the members on our team. While I still care, about them while they're with me, and I nurture them, as best I can to help them reach their own goals. And we have a whole leadership team in place that feels the same way and buys into that similar culture. I recognize now that not everyone is here to stay, and and it's okay, because what is happening the way that it's supposed to happen. Because I believe everything happens the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, but if we do our part to just do something to provide value to them, then that value that we give to them, if they leave, they're going to provide that same value to somebody else. So the way I look at it is, if I can multiply that, whatever it is, like support, that knowledge, that experience, that goodness, if we can multiply that, then it just multiplies after us. So all the people that you've influenced, all the people that you've brought into your team that have left, just imagine it. If you see them successful, part of that is because of what you've implanted in them. Right.
That's
So,
right. It's such a ripple effect. And so, yeah, that's a really, really great way to look at it as well. It's so true. 100% facts.
mhm.
I love that. So, as we think about your leadership and how you have advanced in your career, and the subject a little bit to your investing part.
Mhm.
And I'm so proud of you for knowing how to cut granite. My word, granite is so heavy.
It was crazy. It was crazy. Yeah.
That's bananas. But congrats to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
When you are in a situation where you got to do what you got to do, it's amazing where this inner strength and intestinal fortitude comes from to help you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Yes, I can definitely relate to that. But as you've been on this investing journey, how has being on this journey shaped the way you assess risk, opportunity, and long-term growth today?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question, because when you're young and you don't have a lot of knowledge, you assess risk differently, right? I feel like back then I was really basing it just on the knowledge that I have or the friends that I was talking to. The challenge was the friends I was talking to never really did the stuff I was asking about, but they had a lot of opinions on it. So, but it's interesting now, I actually do a lot of studying. I went through a period where I still read a lot of books. I just don't read as many, or I would go like through 35, 50 books a year. Now what I do is I get a book and I look at, okay, what do I want to learn from this book? And I actually don't finish the book. I'll be honest. What I do now is I jump around to the topics in the book that I like. And so I pull out. And so I'm still, taking away from a lot of books, but I'm pulling out certain pieces of information that I need. Right. So, so the way I assess risk now is really based on a lot of knowledge that I've gained. And then I've surrounded myself with people who are more knowledgeable than me. So when you're young, you just become friends who you go to school with, right? And you're not really selective around the people that you spend your time with. As I've gotten older, I've become a little bit more selective. And I hate to say that. I still have friends, but I have had to really choose people who are at the same frequency or at a higher frequency as me, who are looking at business a little bit differently, so that I can, grow also. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? And then the other adage is your income is equal to the 10 people you spend the most time with, right? So for me, I've surrounded myself with people who are also investors, who also have a lot of knowledge on investment. And so I now have, I wouldn't say mentors. I do have 2 mentors, but I do have like my own personal advisory team that I could bounce ideas off of, or I can get investment advice from. And so I was I wouldn't say meticulous, but I was very selective. My husband and I were very selective as to who we actually surround ourselves with and the type of people that we ask advice from. So when I assess risk and opportunities now, like for example, this land development deal that we just invested in, I just invested in a femtech company, a startup as well. I'm looking at an SPV in Dubai right now as an investment also. When we look at that, we're looking at the numbers. And now I have a little bit more knowledge base to understand, okay, if the estimated return is 24% in 9 months, is this actually possible? Let me talk to some land developers. Let me talk to some people. So, opportunities and risk now is a little bit different because of the knowledge. Number 2, opportunities and risk. I think I'm less risk adverse than I was when I was younger, which is funny because when I was younger, I had less money. So you would think I'd be more, I would be less risk adverse, but I was actually more risk adverse when I was younger. Now I have a little bit more money, but I take more risks because I know that the higher the risk, the higher the return in some cases with investments. So I do. And yeah, I'm not everything is going to be 100%. I'm not going to get, we actually just lost money on a multifamily deal that went under. So I lost $100,000 there. But look, in 2007, I lost $250,000 on my stock portfolio that I just sat on, right? because the
Right.
market crashed. So there's
Right.
always risk, whether it's stock or real estate. But what I do is now I actually look at, okay, I look at short term. What I'm looking for are short term investments, not
Mhm.
5, not 7, not 10 years. I'm looking for short term investments that have a higher return than the stock market. So when I'm putting money in my mutual funds or in my portfolio, my Fidelity, I have a Fidelity account. I have some other accounts too. But when I look at
Mhm.
that, they always say, "Oh, you're going to get a 7 or 8% return. Right now, you're getting 11." I go, "But I'm paying you 6% in fees. You're only getting 3, right?" So
Right.
anytime that I look at the opportunities, what I'm looking at is what's my return and how is that return rate as compared to all my other investments. So
Right.
if that
That's
return
so
rate, right? So if I look at this return rate, like my land development deal, I put money in that. It was a 9-month deal. It was a targeted return of 24%. Well, that's definitely a lot higher.
yeah.
Operators were good. Everything looked really, really good. And so I, made that investment. Again, everything is a risk, but I'm looking at returns right now because I'm a lot older, right?
Right.
I'm not,
Right.
I'm not 30. I'm not 35.
Mhm.
I try to look like I am. Um,
You don't
but
look a day over 35, I promise.
but I'm much older. But yeah, so now I'm looking at time frames and different investment tools and things to really look at. So the way I look at things, opportunities is a little bit different because of where I am and how I look at risk. And then
Yeah.
the way I look at risk is a little bit different because of my knowledge and the people that I surround myself with. So hopefully I answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. It's so good. And so many vital points that you shared with us. The first of all being who you surround yourself with
Hmm.
and who you listen to. Because somebody broke is not going to give you advice on how to be rich. It just
Exactly.
can't happen. And so that is super smart. And I definitely understand that. And as I'm navigating these new spaces in these investor spaces with venture capitalists and private equity investors,
Mhm.
and they're speaking this language and
Yeah.
saying these words, and I'm like, okay, I have to go look that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I really want to understand, what the mindset is as people are looking at these different deals, making these determinations on what to invest in, why they're investing in it, the people that they're investing in, and doing their due diligence on these people
Yeah.
to make sure that they are worthy of the funds that you've worked so hard for.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's so much that goes into it, and I'm so excited about all the different things that I'm learning because similar to you, I firmly believe that you and your income is the average of the. I heard it was the 5 closest people to you.
Yeah.
And it's so important that we surround ourselves with the people who have already achieved
Hmm.
what it is that we're looking for
Exactly.
because they've already paved the way. They've already
They've
been,
already done it.
through
Yeah,
the fire.
exactly. They've
you
already
know?
done it. They've gone exactly through the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I was gonna say something, but I forgot. I'll remember later.
Okay, no worries, no worries. But we were definitely just talking about how now that you are older and as similar, same, making investments that have a greater return quicker makes you more okay with risk a little bit more,
Mhm.
just because the time that we have left is so much shorter.
Yeah,
And so I hate thinking in that way, but just a fact. It's a reality,
it's a
that
reality.
it's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a reality. And I just wanted to say, I would want to say one more thing in regard to risk and opportunity. The way I view money today is very different than the way I viewed money 20 years ago.
Oh
I
yeah.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
funny because when you don't have a lot of money, you hold on to your money. You just
Mm-hmm.
hold on to it so
Mm-hmm.
much and you don't want to release it because you're afraid that you're not going to have any.
Yeah.
But what I've learned is, excuse me, what I've learned is that it's easy to get money and money is really energy and it comes to you. And so the more you release and the more you give and the more you tithe and the more the,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's not an old adage. It's in the Bible. It's like it's like it's not your money. It's really I believe it's God's money. That's just
Yeah.
my belief system. And He given is given me this money as responsibility. And if I do good with the money, then He's going to give me more to be responsible for. So I really believe that. And so my view of money has changed dramatically. And I think that's why I'm less risk averse, because I really do believe it's easy to get money. It's easier. I don't fear not having it. And I think
Right.
that for a lot of people, no matter, there are a lot of people that are afraid to lose their money, and they throw it in their savings, and they throw it in their savings because they're afraid they're not going to have enough. But girl, you put in your savings, you're only making 2% off that money. You know what I mean? 2%. So, and then with inflation, if inflation goes up, and if inflation is larger than 2%, you're actually losing money in your savings. People don't realize that. So again, but that's part the premise, the reason why we hold on to it is because we don't believe there's enough. There is enough money. There's a lot of money out there. If you ask for it, look for it, it's available. So.
Yes, absolutely. I love that you said that. I absolutely love. Well, first of all, 2 is like the number of donuts you're supposed to have. You know, that's 2 is not our friend. but yes, absolutely. When we let go of what we have and we allow, so I'm a woman of faith too. You may know that. And I believe our pastor says if God can get it through you, he'll get it to you.
Exactly.
So I'm a firm believer that when we are providing for, the kingdom, God continues to bless us and bless us and bless us. And we can't outgive God. We just can't.
We can't. That's true.
So giving and being charitable and tithing, I am 100% all about it, and absolutely believe that it makes a difference in how successful we are. Because like you said, our source isn't where the money comes from, but our source is from above. So anyways, that's my take on that. And I absolutely 100% agree with you. And, you're preaching to the choir.
Awesome. I love it.
But it is important to know that to be wise with it, because if we stick the resources that we've been blessed with into a savings account as 2% return, that is not wise. It's just not wise. It kind of reminds me of that parable in the Bible where God gave the guy gave these coins. The talents. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave one coin, he gave 2 coins, and he gave the other 5 coins.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyways, it's a really great parable, y'all. I'll encourage you to look it up. But basically, if we're going to be responsible with the things that we have, we can't just hold on to what we have and stick it in the ground and expect it to grow.
Exactly.
That's considered being an evil. That's evil. And so we need to actually be responsible with the funds that we have and make them grow, because that's what business is. That's what life is all about, is adding to others.
Exactly.
So I completely 100% agree with you on that. And I could talk about that for days. Like So as we're talking about business and life, I know that you've been through, quite some adversity as a single mom, still building, and trying to build in addition to being by yourself. I can relate to that, and I've been there, done that. And so what was your experience like, and has that experience impacted you in how you operate and move today?
Yeah, it was tough. Those years were really tough. I mean, sometimes you make choices when you're younger, and I made a choice to have my child out of wedlock, and in hopes that it wouldn't be wedlock, that I would get married, but it didn't happen for me right away, right? And then I ended up being a single mom, and again, this journey of my idea of money and all of that stuff, it started to bloom at that point. But I was on welfare, and I was on food stamps. So I did that for a little while just to get through, just to get a job. And I would say during that period, I had to really dig deep to really believe in myself. When you get to that point, you're doing so well, you're in college and all of this stuff, and you don't finish college because you get pregnant, and you're just like, oh my gosh, but I still have to finish college. And all my money was used by again, you get yourself into thousands and thousands of dollars worth of debt. And you're having to go to credit counseling to help you pay off this debt, and you're getting on food stamps, and you're just trying to make it, you lose confidence in yourself.
Yes.
And so during that period, I really had to really dig deep to really believe in who I was. There's a lot of time spent in scripture for me, really reading, all the different stories of all the people in scripture that God helped, and really digging into that and believing in that and believing in myself. And it was hard to get out of that and to get a job in sales, getting paid $1,800 a month in San Francisco, living on my friend's couch with my 1.5-year-old. It really taught me today that no matter, it's crazy. You go through something like that where you're like eating rice and tuna every single day, and you're on WIC, and you're getting the free peanut butter and the free milk and the free eggs, right? When you go through something like that, anything else I go through now doesn't compare. Like, I know the adversity that I went through, I know that I can do anything, right? Yeah, it may not be on my timing. It's on God's timing. It may not be the way I want it to be perfectly, but I know that if I put the full effort and I put the full 110%, it will be achieved. So I think that for your listeners and for people out there, if they are going through adversity, just know that this is just a small bump in the road. It's not the bumpy part of the road that you're going through right now. Like that bumpy part that I went through. I mean, there were big rocks. I didn't know how I was going to get over those. But at the end, the road is not like that forever. That's what I realized, right? So anytime I go through any adversity now, it's like, oh, this is just a little small thing. It's just a little bump in the road. I'm just going through some corners, some weird corners, and the road will be straight after that, because the road cannot stay bumpy forever, and the road cannot stay curvy forever. So I know that I can get through it, and I know that I will always get through it, and that every adversity I go through, I'll work through it. I know that it's not the end of the world now, and that's because of what I went through. It was really, really. I can go through the whole story. It's a long story. I could talk about it for days. It's a long story. It's a long story. But anytime, if anybody's going through adversity now, just know that this is just a small bump. It's just a little smidgen of your whole life, but it's teaching you something. It's anytime I have adversity, anytime I fail, I know that it's a teaching moment for me. Like, okay, why did I fail? What do I need to learn from this? And how can I get better?
Right. Oh, that is so good. So good, Christine. I can relate on so many levels. First of all, hand claps to you for overcoming that. Was a young single mom. I was a teen mom on welfare. I graduated from high school at 16 with a 1-month-old son.
Wow.
Had to make some serious shifts and take on all this responsibility at a very young age. So I can definitely relate to the WICs and the food stamps and the low-income housing and all of the things. I've been there. So when you say what we go through today is nothing compared to that, you are like,
exactly. Renee, I have so many chills right now, just because like we have so much we can relate to, because it is, right?
Yes, I know. So, but now look at you now. Look at you now. I mean, look how God has used you to be such a blessing. Use that experience, turn it around for good. And now what a blessing you are to be able to show people how to not only overcome, but to get over and down the road and through the bumps and around the curves, maybe even hitting an apex, so that they don't have to go so slow through the curves, but they can build on that momentum and just continue striving and moving forward to accomplishing their dreams. Here you are now managing multiple multi-million-dollar businesses and organizations with your family. It's a lot. It is a lot. And you are being wise, and you are now super, super, super successful in doing what you do in your investing and your leadership. So as we get ready to wrap up today's show, if nobody remembers a single thing, what do you want them to take away from today's show?
What do I want them to take away from the show? I would say that wherever you're at in your journey, whether you're at the beginning, the middle, whether you hit a bump in the road, it's just, and if it's hard right now, just know that it's just for right now. It's just a little moment in time. Your life is this long, this big, and the little bumps we go through are this big. They're little. And so just know that there's an end to it. But as you go through it, look at it. Sometimes we go through these things and we get really emotional about it. But I would say step away from the emotion and go, why am I getting emotional about it? Like, what's the impetus of that? And then reassess and go, okay, it's not that bad. Or if you're like, if something's happening, you're like, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. You have to step away from that comment and you have to go, okay, is it really the end of the world? Is it really like the end of me? Because you have to step away from that emotion and that feeling, because that's the emotion and feeling is just temporary, right? It's not really what's actually happening. And you start to believe that the emotion or feeling that you have is the truth, but it's really not truth. Truth is what you step away from, and you actually have to look at the situation. So I would say to your listeners that wherever you're at, just it's a small bump. You'll get through it. And if you're looking for investing, there's so many ways that you can invest. If you're looking to buy a house, there's so many ways you can buy a house with no money. There's so many different things that you can do that you can get out of whatever financial situation you're in literally in 6 months. It's that quick. So,
wow. Well, I'm sure our listeners want to know more about how to do that. So, how can we stay in touch with you?
You can go to my website, christinevaldes.com. And I think at the bottom of the website, there's like a form if you want to like reach out to me. I have a couple of different PDFs on, the 7 ways to find houses without money. I have different, whatever, I have different PDFs. I don't have it on the website yet. I'll have it where you can click on it and download it. I just haven't set that up yet, but you can definitely connect there, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile at Christine Sario-Valdes on LinkedIn.
All right. Awesome. Well, we definitely will be connected for sure. I love real estate, and I actually had a few guests on the show who are in real estate as well. And one of them does an assessment on whether or not you should be a landlord or whether or not you should own real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I discovered landlording is not for me.
Oh, me neither. I have landlords that, man, landlording is not for me. I know that for sure. Yeah.
So thank you so much for your resources. We definitely are excited to see them get up on the website and be able to share them with our audience. Christine, this has been truly amazing. You are amazing. You were made for something great. So go and be awesome.
Thank you so much. Loved it.